Hello, my name is Tanya. I live in a forest. Sometimes I make things, sometimes I don't. And last week was a little bit weird. It felt like I didn't get anything done, even though I did. But I ended up making a different kind of video. But this week I thought I'll show you what I'm actually working on. And we'll start with this little thing. It's a project that exists because I needed to do something with my hands. Um, Recently, I took all of my sewing supplies and moved them to a different room. And this is my. It looks like an office, but it's a bedroom. And I needed to do something in the evenings. And this one is. I have some. Oh, so I have some old units um, that are already papered, and they are just leftovers from a different project, and I've decided that I'm going to take them and arrange them into a little block, and I'm going to add like a frame around them to make it big enough to be a block in the chaos quilt. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. This is the second one that I've made, but it was just a way to take something portable with me and work on in my downtime. That's one little thing that I'm working on. Next thing that I have been doing is I've finished piecing the blocks for the last border on my English paper piecing baby quilt. Um, I'll see if I can show you. It's going to be its separate video, but here is a big element, and here are the small 4 batch blocks. I needed 60 of those to finish the border, and that's what I was doing last week. I needed to make some papers and make these blocks. It was a lot of fun. It didn't take as much time as I thought it would. So now I'm going to get to attaching the last border. It's not going to take a long time at all. I think that this top can be finished by the end of this week. Could be cool. Another project on the list is a new beginning. I have a piece of wadding laying around in the attic. It's exactly the baby quilt size that I like, and it kind of burns my hands a little bit because I want to get it out of the house. It's cheap, it's polyester, but it's nice thick polyester. It's going to be nice for winter, I think. But because it's kind of thick, it's going to be puffy. And because it's polyester, I don't want to use any of the expensive fabrics on it. And I don't want to spend too much time. So my idea was I'm going to make a simple checkerboard quilt top using lights and greens because I have a lot of them and I need to use them up. And I have a lot of pre-cut squares, but I wasn't cutting them too precisely because I never do. And I've started by starching them, and I've started to kind of cut them down to perfect 1.5 inch, because some of them are a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. Usually things like that don't bother me too much, but what I want to do is I want to figure out how precise I can get on a machine. I like English paper piecing, one of the reasons because it's so precise, and I want to test my abilities to make a perfect, near perfect, as perfect as possible checkerboard pattern without papers. So I need to give myself the best chances, and I'm starching the fabric, I'm cutting it precisely exactly to size, I'm checking everything, and yeah, I'm going to press everything in between each seam just to make sure that everything is as perfect as possible. But at the end, I'm hopefully going to compare my normal 16 patch block with the 16 patch block that I did with all those precautions, and see if it makes that big of a difference. Because if it doesn't, then I'm not going to bother with making my life more difficult in the future. But so I wanted to make it in a week, but I soon realized that it's not going to be done in a week, because the most difficult part for me is actually cutting out the item, the units, and it bores me to death. And I spent a couple days, a couple evenings on making sure that I have all the perfect squares, and I've made 12 sets. I need 36 sets, so it's 1/3. I need to make 24 more sets, and I should really get to it, but at the moment I, I, I have more interesting things to do. But that's something that I did. It's something that's on the go. Another update is on my chaos quilt. I have been doing some things to it. It's in a different box now. And here's one of the units that I showed you finished. I think I could add a border today, maybe, if I get to it. Could be fun. And I have those sets of 4 squares, a whole bunch of them. With this project I like to batch things, so I made them into pairs, then I made them into 4s, then I pressed everything, and now I'm ready to assemble the blocks, and I'm going to show you how I do it, I think. All of the seams on my strips are pressed to the same side. Doesn't really matter which one. I usually make it to the darker side, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm laying them out into blocks of 4 strips, and I'm talking to myself, and I'm saying up, down, up, down. And this way I know that the seams are going to nest probably. If it's not perfect, then it's okay, but usually I make sure that they go up and down, so that I don't have any difficulties later. I'm not thinking too much about what I'm doing right here. I'm just laying them out so that I can join them it's going to be a mess regardless of what I do. So we go up, doesn't work, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. You get the idea? I'm going to lay everything that I have onto this box and get back to you. Now, you probably know the drill. I have 4 sets of strips in here, and I'm going to just sew this stack to this stack. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then when all of those are connected, I'm going to connect the third one. When all of those are connected, I'm going to connect the fourth one. And that's going to be everything assembled together in one big batch. If all goes well, we should end up with something that looks like this. I should count how many blocks that is. Now these blocks are now ready to be pressed and neatly stored in a box where all the same blocks go. And I'm going to count them and figure out how many I need to make. But yeah, for now I think these are going to go in a box, and I'm going to concentrate on different things for now. This is new, and it's also work that needs doing. Заходи. Заходи давай. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's good. It's going to join the pile over there. Now let's decide what's going to happen with this block. I think that I'm going to make a border out of green fabric. It was a real struggle for me not to choose black. So it's going to be like this. And I'm going to aim for this size. I'm going to press this, cut it into strips, and somehow attach it to this thing. Here is the final thing, and now I'm going to put it in a box. I think it's lovely. Thank you for being with me this week. That's what I have going on, and that's why nothing ever gets done, because everything kind of happens at once. And yeah, I had a really strange week. I've spent a lot of time hand stitching while watching podcasts about how AI is going to take my job. And I think, like, well, it's nice to have a hobby that's probably not going to be taken over by robots, but there's no money in it, especially if nobody has a job. So I kind of gave in to the AI doom recently, but I was stitching a lot. And if you stayed here till the end, you've deserved a little treat. It's going to be a little teaser preview of my EPP baby quilt, because I have finished the top yesterday. Let me show you. That's everything I have for today. I'll see you next week with something else.